And then I realized that this could actually be weaponized and as part of an arms race, that maybe the newspapers were in fact conjugating president, strongman, dictator. And so I remembered this very strange phrase from years past, Panamanian strongman, Manuel Noriega. And I thought, who would come up with a construction that awkward and always invariant? And then everyone repeats it.
And then everyone uses it.
Exactly.
Constantly. Hawkish, he's hawkish.
Right. Or a controversial businessman was applied to a friend of mine, Declan Ganley, who had fought the Lisbon Treaty in the EU. And at some point they removed controversial businessman, so he just became businessman Declan Ganley. And so what I came to understand is that the big boys don't play around with faking the facts. What they realized is that we have multiple opinions on everything, but our emotional state selects which opinion. And the person who figured this out is Frank Luntz. And Frank Luntz was a Republican pollster. There's a video of him where he asks people, what do you think about undocumented workers? Like, oh, they're doing a great job and we have to recognize their contribution. Well, do you support illegal aliens? No, they should be deported.
Yeah.
And in an instant, and then you see that the mind doesn't see itself. It's having two reactions to death tax and estate tax. It's the same object.
Right.
And so we are both for and against everything. And so while we're watching information, they're not looking at information. They're looking at the emotional shading because our emotions pick out which of our multiple opinions we're actually going to act on. And so what I'm pointing to here is that this is the language that you need to get underneath the constructed world that you're presented with. And what I hope is that this essay is going to show people that you can code up a computer program to crawl text against a table of Russell conjugates to figure out what the exact bias is of any news source. I don't need to know about Breitbart is conservative. Let me crawl it.
Let's just look at the buzzwords. Let's look at the
language. Write a
language.
Python program, use regular expressions, grab the text, match it against a table, and I'll tell you exactly what you're being told to feel. Irrespective, you can be trusted with the knowledge. What you can't be trusted with is your feelings, because the feelings determine the opinion. And so this is the great binary weapon. The information superhighway had very little effect relative to what we were expecting, because it needs the second emotional component. There's no emotional superhighway to go next to it.
This is so fascinating because it's so everything that's happening right now, and it actually does, maybe this is the unifying principle of our entire conversation, because it fits within the fake news thing, it fits within the algorithm thing, it fits within trying to talk honestly about difficult issues. I mean, it's all right there.
Well, think about it like this. If you're going to trust somebody like a physician to put you under and operate on you, you want to have a lot of previous discussions so that you feel that person is aligned with you. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the power tools into the hands of the people who've not been trusted with them, and to say, hey, I want to upgrade my relationship. I don't really want to kill the New York Times. I want the New York Times to learn how to respect people who are as smart or smarter than the editors who drive the narratives, than the reporters who go out and report. And I want them to come to see themselves as part of the problem and part of the story, which is, please stop with the editorial headlines.
Yeah, everything's editorialized now.
Right, and stop with the narratives. And you're going to have to be in partnership because you don't have the gatekeeping ability anymore. And previously, we democratized information, but we kept turning to the New York Times. Please tell me how to feel. Those aren't revolutions in Tahrir Square. Those are demonstrations, right? And so I was the one who was off of social media. I was saying, I'm watching a revolution. But in New York, when I went to a party, people would say, what are you talking about? It's a demonstration, right? And so these conjugates...
Then they realized after Mubarak went down that it was a revolution. No?
This is the amazing part about it. It's only when you actually hear the authoritative source that you've empowered to switch the language that you actually feel safe. Because what happens is if you just take what you see and then you go into your social group, you will find that you will be instantly ostracized. And so what we've been depending on the New York Times, not for information, we've been depending upon it to tell us what's safe to feel. With whom should I empathize? Who should I consider a pariah? Who should I hug to my bosom? And this is the thing that we're now going to break through. So 2016 was the year when that started to crumble.